All right, cool. So I got all my masks in place here and a few extra ones with the pincer overlap. All right, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and bring this guy up to speed. So go through, parent everything correctly. Let's see. As most of you already know, we want to parent everything to the body, so it moves all at once. You click on the center piece. All right, and let's keep in mind there are 6 legs here, so we got their tiny legs in the back. Let's see. This here. This is the body. If you have everything named correctly, it's going to be really easy to do parenting and then animation individual parts without having to scrub through the timeline, figure out what moves and what doesn't move, and determining that as your layer to continue work on. Right. Let's see. Looks like everything's in place here. Test it real quick. Alright, everything's moving as it should. Make sure my stacking order is correct. Okay, looks like I'm good to go. Alright, if not, we'll see pretty shortly here. Alright, so with animation, animating a puppet, it's pretty simple. We'll start with your broad strokes first, right? So the broadest movements we can do is moving the body, but since we're going to nest this and move everything as one, to help us with zooming in, zooming out, the Z-def perception down to tree here, we're going to leave that for later. So the next biggest thing we can shoot for are the leg motions at the base here. Alright, so just to get this walking cycle going, I'm going to start with these joints closest to the body and start animating those. First I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and key in default position for everybody. Default rotation. That way if anything happens, I still have the original position to reset at any point. Right? Sort of like your undo for animation without having to undo all your other work. You put in all the other pieces here. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to hit P for position. Go ahead and hit my stopwatch to turn on all the layers and adds down a keyframe for me. And then I'm going to hit it one more time, just a little ways out. Select on the diamond off to the side here, adds another keyframe without moving anything. That way the first 10 seconds is my default position. Excuse me, first 10 frames. Alright. Now I can begin my walk cycle. So first part, clear the selection here. I'm going to start with these back legs. Try to get this alternating motion that crabs usually walk in. And nothing too dramatic. Make sure I'm on the right one. Let's see, so leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. Start with these back guys. Yeah. Oh, it's good. Keyframes on the position. All right, go back through, hit the rotation. We're animating this rotation. So R for rotation, stopwatch, 10 frames down, diamond button. All right. Clear my selection. Find my back legs in the list here, and then now we can start. So R to bring up my rotation transform by itself. We'll say about every half a second. And we can always retime these later. So 10, half a second, 22 frames. Have this one go back a little bit. At the same point in time. And this one go forward. forward half a second, alternate. Repeat as much as necessary. Okay, so ideally we want to get this to be about 30 seconds long. I'm gonna get in the first about 5-6 seconds here. Subtle movements, nothing too dramatic. Okay, I'm gonna give it sort of like a settling motion here. And then I can scrub through, see them wiggling around. Awesome, man. And I can also use these as kind of checkpoints for the rest of the leg, so I'm not timing 12 frames out each time. Alright, so next set I'm going to mess with, it's going to be these the middle set of legs here. So let's see, I'm going to try to find this one. Yeah, this is the one. Marquee, open up rotation. Right. Leg number 2, left leg number 2. Alright, rotation. Awesome. So if I click and drag the slider, press and hold shift, I can snap to all present keyframes here. So that'll save me a lot of time. Go ahead and extend this up a little bit so I can see everything I'm working on. And again, so this general motion. Alright, and trying to keep track with these guys. So again, it's alternating walk cycles. So this side expands while this side compresses, and vice versa. Alright, so starting with this side, we're going to have this one compress in. This one expand out. And alternate. can't really get at this joint here, so I'm just clicking layer. And again, I know what it is because I named it appropriately. Alright, we'll have a kind of a settling motion. I guess I can't click that. Settling motion for this last keyframe. Alright, so now I can scrub through, make sure everything looks correct so far. Crab walk. Yep. One more set of legs here. Close these two guys out. Just need rotation here. It's right leg one, left leg one. Oh, there we go. Alright, and the same thing. And so it's this one, these should be compressing, these should be extending. Outwards there. Well, looks like I can't really snap to keyframes that are not showing, so get a little more space here. There you go. And of course, after you do enough of this, it becomes a rhythm. Right? Really, none of this should take more than an hour or so to complete. bathe and settling. Alright, scrub through, make sure everything's working. Alright, looks good. Okay, it claws a little different. It's got a little more free reign on the claws since they're just up in the air here. Alright, so I'm just going to add a little bit of motion as he's walking here. Kind of like something like this, so it expands as he speeds up. And kind of slowly pushes his claws down as he comes to a settling stop here. Alright, not bad. Okay, so may not be obvious what the rest of the joints look like in our crab walk here. I'm going to go over it quickly here, but I'm going to go ahead and move on after doing just a few of these to the next point where we just place them on the tree there. Alright, so back legs, all we see is just that one section. Sorry? Is that a question? All right, so let's see here. Start off with these back sections here. A little closer to the tip. Again, we'll go through all the way and animate this section and then move on to the tips here. Right, starting from default position. So as you can imagine, he's sitting still. He's got one leg, one leg on the tree. As he moves, he'll need to pick it up. And then as he comes to a stop, he places it back on the tree, right? Kind of like what our knees do. So what we'll do for this guy, rotate for him, and then rotate for this one way over here. Kind of add in some half points here, so right in between here. So let's see, 10, 22, yeah, 6 frames. Well, before I start moving these guys around too much, I'm just going to go ahead and key in the original positions for everything else. Because we're going to keep coming back to that position as he's walking around here. Alright, cool. And again, so every half position, Just gonna raise it up a little bit, and then full position, which is the half second, and it'll be back in place. So right about here. Raise this guy up. And raise this guy up a little bit. So it's 22, 10, so 4. There we go. Coming to the end here. All right, and just take a look at what we got. So not bad. It's not bad. So we got some more wiggle room. This one's working a little better than this one. Probably should displace this one a little bit more. All right, but that's tweaking afterwards. And just keep in mind, we gotta get touch points on the tree here. Alright, and then once y'all have gone through each one of these segments, so each one has its own keyframes here, and next steps would be to place them on the tree. Alright? Okay. What I can do with that is, let's see, do I already have tree composition? Yeah. So I've already made my tree composition here. Alright, I have my nested crab composition in here, so which means the first 5 seconds should show him walking. Alright, and so what I can do with this, starting from the back. Resize them, click and drag, hold shift to maintain proportions. I want to have him kind of small, so when he's up close he's not too blurred out and whatnot. Put them here. I'm going to take off snapping. This is more organic motion here. So I'm going to put them right here. Alright, I'm just use the edges of the trunk as my guideline. So I have the edge of his this ladder knee here kind of lined up with the tree. So when I bring him in close, I want to keep that lined up, and that should give us some Z space depth. So here, mess with position. So hit P, open up my position, add in that first keyframe, come down 10 seconds when the animation starts. Go ahead and add in another holding keyframe. Alright. Okay, looks like that'll work. Alright, and then one other thing we're going to be messing with is our scale. So we'll go ahead and press S to bring up scale. Same thing for that one. Alright. Then I'm just going to make this whole gesture a smooth motion. So come to the end where he stops moving. Say right about there. I have my stopwatch on, so I can just go ahead and move him down. So right about there. Scale him up so he can fit. Right about there. And let's see what we got so far. Computer's hanging up a little bit. It's got a lot of keyframes to process. Well, looks like it crashed on me. Yeah, so important to say, save early, save often. Let's see if I can get this back up. No autosave. Alright. So I lost all that work just now. Just keep in mind, save early, save often. Thank goodness I was streaming. So that goes over all the motion part, the keyframes part. Any questions on that? Articulated motion, getting them on the tree. No? Okay. Cool. Alright, so next part. The finishing touches here. Let's go ahead and let's clean them up a little bit. Alright, so for these antennae, what we want to do is use our clone tool. Alright, we'll go into each one of these layers. Alright, we're going to press and hold Alt. Give me just a second here. Okay, gotcha. All right, my bad. Let's double click on the section we're going to be working on. Clone tool. Press and hold Alt. And the way the clone tool works, if you're not familiar with Adobe Suite, like After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, they have the same tool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow areas of the skin and place it on top of this antenna part. And hopefully we can get something that looks like that's just a solid piece of crab here. So let's see, I'm going to start down here, press Alt, click this part, and I can start painting over that crab part here. And be careful to stay within my mask here. That looks pretty good. Alright, and keep in mind less is more. So each stroke you make adds a whole other operation here. And those can get kind of lengthy, so I'm going to try to get this in one stroke. What I mean by lengthy is that it becomes heavy on the computer here. Go ahead and delete those. Come back here and try to get one stroke here. There you go. That looks pretty good. And you can do the same with each piece here. So say we'll take this part. And you have to clean up a little bit outside the lines. Eraser tool. Again, let's keep this as minimal as possible. There you go. Get that piece cleaned up. Go. Alright. Alright, so looking way better now. Okay, and then see, I won't go over this. I'll make this extra credit if you want to add in the antenna. So it'll involve going back to the original picture here. Cutting out these antenna. And these have some motion blur on there, so you use your clone tool to take some of the base here and extend it outwards. Make it a solid piece. Then you can animate those moving along with the legs and the pincers here. So that'll be extra credit. Alright, but the last part we'll have required here is going ahead and start filling in some of these missing pieces. Alright, so this part was unfortunately outside of the picture, but we can resolve that. So it'll be the same motion here. See if we can get this to work. Okay, hold on. Do some fancy maneuvers on this guy. So I'm not going to worry too much about that part. It's going to eat up a lot of time. We really need to move on to other projects here. Alright, so let's just focus on cleaning up the antenna here on the sections, the pinchers, right? Extra credit for getting the antenna in here animated. Alright, this part we're not going to worry about. The other parts though should work just fine as far as cleaning off, using the technique we use to clean off the antenna here. So what we do is we'll come in here, again, clone tool, pick a spot. And then, let's see, just my pen tool size. That is not like Photoshop. Give me just a second, guys. Just made it a little smaller. Over here, brushes, smaller size. Press and hold Alt. Come through and start painting this part. looks good. Oh, this is before I adjusted stacking order. So this one comes underneath the other legs here. There you go. Alright, and then the same thing over here. Clone tool, click. Again, try to be as frugal as possible. This is such a small piece. We don't need great detail in this one. Another piece here. Let's see. There we go. Yep, early version. It's not parented yet. But yeah, so we just add in some color here. So when we move the pieces, so we animate them, they actually show up and not so blank. So I'm going to adjust this one as well. Alright, cool. Any questions so far? All good. So cleaning up the crab, articulating, walk motion, getting all the keyframes in there. Let's shoot for 15 seconds. Like again, this project is taking a little too long. We'll have this due by next class. I'm gonna go ahead and put the posting on later today. All right, and then we'll move on to further masking and some visual effects here. All right. Well, let's take the rest of the time in class. Let's try to finish this on out. And if you have any questions, let me know.